So here we are going to learn about dimensioning in the drawing. So what is the importance of dimensioning and what are the points we have to remember in this dimensioning? We will know about it. So if you consider any of the object, each and it consists of so many elements. Each and every element we have to specify how much length it possesses or how much what is the radius of the curvature, or if it is inclined then how much is the angle between these two lines. All these informations are important to specify in the drawing. So what are the points we have to remember in dimensioning? First and foremost is, as much as possible, all the dimensions should be outside the drawing, outside the drawing. So how we can able to get the dimensions should be away from the drawing, that we have to know it. I will explain in few seconds. Apart from that, we should know how many ways are there to represent or to give the dimensioning. So those are called dimensioning systems. Dimensioning systems. Dimensioning systems are two types. First one is called aligned system, and second one is unidirectional system. Unidirectional system. So for these two, few elements are common, means how to represent the dimensioning is same for both, but how we are conveying, how we are drawing those dimensions is only having the difference. Good. First I will explain aligned system in this particular video, and after completing aligned system we will discuss about unidirectional system. So here the type of dimensioning systems are okay. How many types of dimensions are there? What are the different types of dimensions? So dimensions are broadly divided into three categories. What are the different types of dimensioning? So there are three types of dimensions we can able to consider. That is going to be, first one is linear dimensioning. Linear dimension, because sometimes the lengths are going to be present, so those things are considered as linear dimension. Second one is a radial, which is having the curvatures, radial elements curvatures. Third one is angular dimensioning, how to mark the angles. So these we have to know for giving the dimensions to an object. Good. So in order to explain all these three, first of all we will go ahead with one diagram, which is with the help of that we can able to know how to draw an object. So here if you observe, this is an object. For this we are going to give the dimensioning. Now in these linear dimensions I will explain first, later we will go ahead with radial, then angular. So let us consider from here to here, means length of this object is 100, length of this object is 100. Then how to represent it? So in the first step itself I said, as far as possible, as much as possible, the dimensions should be outside the drawing. Therefore, sir, from here to here it is 100, but representing inside the drawing is not accepted, so we have to give outside. Therefore, it is wrong. Then how to bring the dimensions outside from outside the drawing? So it should not be inside, it should bring outside to the drawing. How can we do it, sir? How can we do it? So for that, what we have to do, we are going to take the help of extinction lines. These terminologies are important. Go through it. So what all are they? First one is extinction line. So these are going to be used. So these terminology are going to be used for linear dimensioning. So what is the thing? First one we have to know about extinction line. Extinction lines. So how these extinction lines should be? So here this is the dimension. This is the dimension. We have to bring it outside. So how that extinction line should be? The extinction line should be perpendicular to the dimension line. So we have to bring it like this. So this is perpendicular to the dimension. So that one I am going to write. These are perpendicular to the dimensions. These are perpendicular to the dimension. Okay, but which pencil we are going to use? Because it is not the part of the drawing and it is not the reference also. Actual drawing should be drawn with HB. Reference should be drawn with 2H. References should be given with H pencil. And supporting lines are going to draw with 2H pencil. That is why we should use 2H pencil for these. So which pencil we have to use? This is also important, my dear friends. Most of the times the people are going to draw these extension lines dark and the drawing impression will be goes out. Therefore, extension lines should be with 2H. So for your clarity, here I am going to use certain notation. So if I change the thickness, it is not going to reflect that much. That is why I am going to use some color coding. So wherever I am using black, it is related to HB pencil. Wherever I am using red, it is related to H pencil. The green is going to related to 2H pencil. So now we are going to represent from here to here it is 100. Therefore, we have to draw one extension line here. And here also an extension line. Okay, sir. Once if you give the extension line, how we can able to represent 100? So we have to draw an dimension line. We should draw a dimension line. How that dimension line is? So what is the next element? The second one is a dimension line. How it is? So it should be drawn parallel to the dimensioning. It should be drawn parallel to the dimension. Dimension line is parallel to the dimension. So here dimension is this. So from here to here it is 100. Therefore, dimension line, whatever I drawn here, it should be parallel to this particular dimension. So the dimension line, how it is? It is parallel to the element or dimension, parallel to the dimensioning. It is parallel to the dimension. Good, sir. So you drawn here. So from which point to which point it is 100? So we know that from here to here it is 100. So how to represent it? So how to represent it? So for that we have to give the reference, means we have to specify this is from this location to this location it is 100. How we can able to give that information? So for that we are going to use arrowhead. So what is the purpose of arrowhead? It is going to used as a reference. It is going to use as a reference. So we are referring from which point to which point? We are referring a point with the help of arrowhead. Good. Sir, what is the shape of this arrowhead? These points are important. So arrowhead shape should be, it should be a isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle. Okay, sir, once it is a isosceles triangle, what is its characters? So it is a isosceles triangle. Now we are going to consider this is going to be the height of the triangle and it is the base of the triangle. Remember how this triangle should be. It should be isosceles triangle. What is the ratio? It is going to be 1:3. Sir, is it 1:3 or 3:1? Which is the correct answer? Sir, if I take B is to H, breadth is to H, it is, or otherwise H is to B. The second one is correct. But which one among these two is the exact one? Remember, my dear friends, this one is correct and it is not going to be considered as right. Why, sir? What is the reason behind it? Because once if you consider the triangle, how we can able to specify its character? Definitely if it is a isosceles triangle, we should give base and height. We are going to give base and height. First element is related to the base of the triangle. Second one is altitude of the triangle. Height is nothing but altitude of the triangle. Therefore base is 1, altitude should be 3 times the base. That is why 1:3 is the correct answer, not 3:1. Is it clear? So most of the times some people will say 1:3 or 3:1, both are correct. But if they specify height is to base, then it is 3:1. If they won't specify that word, then you have to give the preference to 1:3. What is the why it is? Because the first term is related to the base. Second one is only altitude. So that is why we have to specify 1:3. So here, which pencil we have to use for arrowhead? You are already aware of it. It is going to be H pencil. Here dimension line I was not given. It should be with HB 2H pencil. It should be with 2H pencil. So here we have to specify it is with 1:3 ratio. We have to represent like this. It is a height should be base height should be less. Okay, this is the arrowhead, and here also we should specify like this. Arrowhead should be very sharp. So 1:3. Good. Sir, in the competitive examination, one more question we can able to expect from this. So what it is, sir? That is, what is the angle of the arrowhead? So angle of the arrowhead, how much? Angle of the arrowhead. All the people know that it is 1:3. But what is the angle of the arrowhead? That is important. So let us consider it is not a tough task because you are not remember. Just if you do this one, you can able to know. It is a arrowhead. This is the base and it is the height. So this is called angle of the arrowhead. I am assuming this is theta. Now in order to get this, what I am going to do is I am going to draw a angular bisector at the apex or vertex here. This is called, corners are called vertices. So at this vertex I am going to draw a perpendicular line to the base, so it is going to touch us here. Now from these we know that this is going to be b by 2, this is going to be h, and this angle is going to be theta by 2. So now I know opposite side and adjacent side. With the help of tan theta we can able to get the answer. What is tan theta by 2 is equal to opposite side divided by adjacent side, and from this I know that h is equal to 3 times b, that is equal to b by 2 into 1 by h. 1 by h is nothing but 3b. bb will get cancelled. Therefore theta by 2 is equal to tan inverse 1 by 6. So what is the value of tan inverse 1 by 6? Once if you check it out, this value, we are going to get it as 9.46 degrees. That is nothing but theta by 2 is equal to 9.5 degrees. That implies theta is equal to 19 degrees. So we can able to write it as approximately equal to 20 degrees. So if they gave 19 degrees or 20 degrees, among these two it is going to be correct. So what is the angle of the arrowhead? It is going to be 19 to 20 degrees. This is also important in conceptual wise. Good sir. Up to this what we learn, sir, if it is going to be for representing the dimension from here to here, it is 100. So we draw one extinction line at both the ends, and then we draw dimension line which is parallel to it. Then what I have to do, we have to specify from which location to which location is 100. So with the help of arrowheads we made it. Then how can we give the dimension for this 100? Which pencil we have to use? Remember, dimension is the actual information we are specifying. This is 100 like this. Sir, which system you are explaining for this diagram? So this 100 you are represented like this. In which way you are going to give it? So here in dimensioning system I am explaining, in this I am explaining aligned system of dimensioning. Aligned system of dimensioning. So this is a aligned system of dimensioning. So here it is aligned system of dimensioning. Now sir, what is meant by aligned system? So at the end I will give the difference between aligned system and unidirectional system. Here you try to remember these words which are important for this. What is aligned system of dimensioning? So the name itself, it is going to give aligned. Aligned means on the line. Aligned means on the line system or above the line system. Above the line. On the line or above the line system we are going to consider as this. So here if this is the dimension line, we have to give above this. We have to give above this line. This is called aligned system. Good sir. But I want to give what is the dimension from here to here. Let us consider it is 75. Sir, how we have to represent it? We are already aware of it. We have to draw the extension line at both the ends. This is one. This is another. These two are extension lines. We have to draw a parallel line to the dimension line. This is parallel to the dimension. And we have to give the reference. What is the reference from here to here? It is the reference. That is why we are going to use arrowhead. We are specifying one arrowhead here. This is another arrow. But I have a doubt. How to represent 75? Sir, if I represent here, sir, if I am viewing from here, this is the 75 on the line. No, sir, if I am viewing from here, if I am viewing from here, this is correct. So black color one is correct or right color one is correct. Sir, whether I have to view from this side I have to view, or from this side. If I view from this side, this one is the correct. If I view from here, this one is the correct. Among these two, which one is the right one? So here, for knowing that, so the correct one is black color representation only. This is correct. You have to view from here. What is the reason behind it, sir? Why we have to view from right side only? Sir, if I view from left, my dimension, whatever I was given 75, it is wrong. If you view from right, it is on the line or above the line. Okay, so why we have to view from right only? Why we have to view from right only? The reason behind it is, all of you are aware of it. If it is a drawing sheet and we are going to give the border lines here, and there will be a title block here. Title block whose dimensions are going to be 185 or 180 by 65. Depending upon the type of size of the sheet, it is going to be changes. Most of the times they will represent 180 by 65. Not a problem, whatever the dimensions it may be. So my the concentration is only title block. Where is the title block to the drawing? Title block is the reference to the entire drawing. Means what all are the who made it, and this particular drawing sheet is related to which part or which concept and which type of projection system we are using and who is approved it. Every information is present in the title block. So here title block is at the right side bottom corner. That is why all the dimensions should be read from either bottom or right side. I hope now you got the clarity. So in aligned system, all the dimensions should be read from either bottom or right side of the drawing. So in aligned system, all the dimensions should be read from bottom or right side of the dimension. I hope it is clear to you now. Now let us consider, sir, this is okay. So and a few more, like this particular element, and if you observe one second, apart from this one I will do it. So this height is some 10. So for this I am going to mention arrowheads on both the sides. So then we are going to give 10 here. Now this is okay, sir. But once if I want to give the dimension for this, how much breadth it is. Sir, here drawing a dimension line is difficult and representing dimensions is also difficult here. Then what I have to do? So for that we are going to give the dimensions outside the extensions. Outside, it is not inside the extension lines, it is outside the extension lines. So how we are going to represent? The reference is from this location to this location, the distance we have to give. So that is why arrowheads we have to provide like this. This is one arrowhead, this is another arrowhead. So what is the dimension of it? Let us consider it is going to be some 4. So we have to give on the line it is 4. Whether it is here or here, sir, anywhere you can able to provide this value as 4. So this is either internal dimensioning or external dimensioning we can able to give it. If the gap is very less, if it is a narrow elements are there. So for that we are going to give the external dimensioning. If the gap, the length of the object is considerably good, then we are going to give internal dimensioning. 100, 75, 10 I gave it as an internal to that extension lines, whereas 4 mm I gave it as an external dimension. So depending upon the element we have to give. Next, so for these, sir, here length and height both are same, sir. Then how we have to represent it? So then we are going to use the word polygon. So we are going to use the symbol. I will explain here. Extension lines, dimension line. Then the places it is going to be arrowhead. Then here let us consider length is 15, height is 15. Instead of giving 2 times, I am going to use the symbol square. 15. What is the meaning of a square in the dimensioning? It is a polygon having each and every element is having the same dimension. Each and every element in that polygon is having the same length. So that is why we are going to represent like this. Good, sir. Up to now you gave the linear dimensions. Good. Now, and one more, here some angle element is there, this is the inclined object. How we have to give the dimension? This one also we will check it out. So here we have to give perpendicular to here, and here also we have to draw perpendicular to this. Sir, while drawing it, this dimension line is disturbing. Extension lines may intersect each other, but dimension lines should not be. That is why what we have to do, sir, all of you observe here, what we should do. So the dimension lines should not be intersect with each other. Extension lines can able to intersect with each other, but dimension lines should not be. So this is perpendicular line. Now if you observe, it is not disturbing my dimensioning line. This is not disturbing my dimensioning line. This is accepted. Then this is parallel to it. Now we have to give the reference with arrowhead. So in this incline, sir, if all of you observe, if it is 45 like this, we have to show on the right side above. Right side above. And once if it is right side above, we have to give. Once the angle is like this, so from here we have to consider as bottom, and we have to give the dimension here. If it is less than 45, so from here less than 45, we have to consider from the bottom. Either 45 or more than 45, we have to consider from the right side. That is the point you have to remember. Now here let us consider this is 20. This is 20. So we have to give 20 like this. This is aligned system. Horizontal element, vertical element, inclined object, inclined element. Apart from that, narrow gaps, how we have to represent with linear dimensioning, we are already aware of it. Sir, what about angular dimensioning? So linear dimensioning is okay. What about radial? We will go ahead with radial next. So how to represent the radial? Where are the radiuses are there? So this one curvature is there. It is having the radius. This is a semicircle. You will have the radius, and this is the circle. It is also having the radius. So radial dimensioning. So what is the next one? Radial dimensioning. So here in radial dimensioning, so we don't have the extension line, but how to bring the object outside, how to get the dimensions outside. So for that we are going to draw ladder line. We are going to draw ladder line. So we are going to draw ladder line. So what is a ladder line? So first of all, we have to locate the center, and then we have to draw a line which is inclined. But how much inclination it is, sir, to bring this outside? So how much is this inclination? What is the character of ladder line? What is the character of this ladder line? It should be with 2h, no doubt, because it is a supporting line. So what is the character of this ladder line? So the ladder line, ladder is nothing but a incline. Ladder line should be, it should be in between 30 to 60 degrees. So either it is horizontal or vertical, you are going to get the same. So the ladder line angle should be 30 or more than 30, but it should not cross 60 degrees. So either it is more than 30, and it can able to draw up to 60 degrees only. It should not be more than 30, it should not be less than 30 or more than 60. That is the thing we have to remember. So after drawing the ladder line, so what I have to do? Next one is a dimension line. So how this dimension line is? Sir, in the previous case, dimension line is parallel to the dimensioning. But in this, in radial dimension, dimension line should be horizontal. Horizontal. Sir, whether it is a left side or right side? So left side is correct and right side is also correct. That is your wish, depending upon the diagram. Whichever you feel it is good, you can able to draw it. So this is, sir, how to represent the reference? So at the center we have to place the dot. And one more thing is, here two things are there. Radius we have to represent and diameter we can able to represent it. Radius means, so at the curvature end we have to provide, at the end of the curvature we should provide the arrowhead. At the end of the curvature we should provide the arrowhead. What is the meaning of it? At the center you are putting a dot. Here we are putting one arrowhead. Therefore, from dot to end of the arrowhead, whatever the dimension you are giving, we are representing on the dimension line. On this dimension line, let us consider it is going to be some 20. So if it is 20, how to say it is not a linear, it is a radial. So that too, it is a radius. In a radial dimension, that is a curvature. It is a radius of this curvature. So we have to use the symbol R. We have to use the symbol R. If I write R20, means this curvature radius is 20. The curvature radius is 20. Good. Similarly, I am going to represent here also. This is the center of it. Then we have to draw the radial line like this. Ladder line. So after drawing the ladder line, this is the dimension line. Then how we have to give? We have to give the reference at the end of the curvature. This is, and we are going to specify that the radius of this particular element is 10 or 10. I hope you understood how to give the radius. Sir, I am not interested to represent radius. I want to give the diameter. Then no problem. You have to draw the diameter line. So this is also with 2H pencil. Diameter line, ladder line. So after drawing each, after drawing this ladder line, after drawing the ladder line, once it is a ladder line, one second. Good. So your ladder lines can able to intersect each other, but it should not intersect the dimension line. So it is also correct. Now what I have to do? I have to draw the dimension line. Now how to give the diameter? Diameter reference is it is the end points of a diameter. This is a diameter line. Don't draw the chord. This is the chord. You should not draw like this. It should pass through the center of a circle. Now we have to give like this. One arrowhead at one end of the diameter. This is another end of the diameter. How to represent it? So we are going to use the symbol 5. Let us consider it is 20. It is 30. 5, 30. So here diameter is going to represent with the symbol 5. Radius is going to represent with the symbol R. And apart from this, only one thing is remains, that is angular. So how we are going to do for the angular? That is very simple. We are going to draw the curvature from one line to another line, and we are going to give the arrowhead at both the ends of this particular angle, and we are going to represent it as some 75 degrees. 75 degrees. Is it clear to all of you? This is the way how we have to give for the dimensioning in a aligned system of dimension. Aligned system of dimension. So what about the another one, sir? That is unidirectional system. First of all, I will explain what is unidirectional system. Then I can able to go ahead with, I will differentiate what are the differences between aligned system and unidirectional system. First of all, so in aligned system, if you observe, all the dimensions are not going to read from one direction. All the dimensions are not going to read from one direction. If you observe 100, 15 of a polygon, 4 reduced length, radiuses and diameter, we can able to read from the bottom of the drawing. Whereas 75 and 10 height of the small narrow slot are going to read from the right side of the drawing. 20 has to be read from some inclination. So all are not viewing, or we are not reading from same direction. But in a unidirectional system, what it is going to be? So these are not going to be, these are wrong. These are viewing from horizontal, it is not correct. So we have to read it 15 like this, 10 like this, 20 like this. So all the dimensions should be read from bottom. So I am going to explain now as unidirectional. So all of you carefully observe where the system I am changing. Another one is unidirectional system. It is not aligned. Unidirectional system of dimension. What is that? All the dimensions should be read from bottom of the drawing. Bottom of the drawing. So then how it is, sir? This 100 is okay, but it is not correct. Why, sir? So in unidirectional system, the dimension line is not a continuous line. We should break the dimension line at the middle. We should break the dimension line at the middle, and we have to give this dimension in between these dimension lines. It should not be above the line and it should not be below the line. It should be unidirectional, and it is in between the dimension lines. In between the dimension lines. This is important. Another one, this 75, what it is, this is wrong, sir. This is wrong. So we have to break the dimension line. We should break the dimension line, and we have to give this dimension at the middle, 75. Okay, sir. And remaining also, I am going to represent the same fashion. So this is arising here. Here the gap is very less. So on that time, we are going for external dimensioning, or here itself I am going to give here as arrowheads are mentioned. So this is 10. And what about this 15, sir? Here also the same fashion. We have to strike off this particular dimension line, and we have to represent this information in between the dimensions. Okay, these are okay, sir. What about this 4? Is it right? No, it is wrong. Why, sir? Here already dimension line is having 2 parts, but 4, it should not be above this line. It should not be above this line. It should be besides this line. It should be beside. All of you carefully observe how I am giving. So it should not be above the line. It should not be below the line. It should be besides the dimension line. Besides the dimension line. This is correct. And radial dimension, there is no change, only one difference. This R10 should not be written here. It is beside this dimension line. Here also the same. So I hope now you got the clarity what is the difference between aligned system to unidirectional system. Here 75 degrees is also not correct. So we have to break the dimension line here, and we should draw this 75 degrees. In between these angular lines. This is the way how we have to give for the unidirectional system. Now I will give what is the difference between aligned system to the unidirectional system. You are already aware of it. So here 2 diagrams if you observe. This is aligned system. This is unidirectional system. Now we will go ahead with what is the difference between aligned system and unidirectional system. So on the left side I am going to write aligned system of dimensioning. Second one is unidirectional. So in aligned system the dimension should be above the line, but whereas in unidirectional system you see it is on par with dimension line. It is beside the dimension line. It is not above or below. Second one is in aligned system the dimensions can be read from right side or bottom. In unidirectional system all the dimensions should be read from bottom. First preference is going to be bottom. Sir, can I make all our viewing from the right side? That is your wish. But the first preference is going for bottom only. Next, in aligned system, dimension line is a continuous line. Dimension line is continuous. Whereas in unidirectional system, break dimension line, DL means dimension line, breaks at the middle. Dimension line breaks at the middle. These are the points, important points you have to remember for aligned system as well as unidirectional system. So apart from this, how many in aligned system, or whether you are using aligned system or unidirectional system, some type of dimension procedure we are going to use, like chain dimensioning, parallel dimensioning, such elements, combined dimensionings will be there. All these I will explain in the next video. Along with that, some special elements are there, dimensioning of special elements are there. Those also I will explain in the next video. Don't miss that. And once if you subscribe, you can able to get the notification. With that you can able to learn those elements also.